Hello everyone, my name is Arava VT and I am a content creator for the First Descendants, and today we are going to be going over a boss bunny build guide using high voltage, as well as a build for running around doing hard mode dungeons and generally farming in the world. This is a fully built bunny. We've used a total of 9 crystallization catalysts and 1 energy activator for this build, and this does require Ultimate Bunny because high voltage is an Ultimate Bunny exclusive module. If you're interested in seeing a non-Ultimate Bunny build, please check out my other video. She's the #1 poster child for the First Descendants. You guys all are pretty familiar with her kit, but we're going to go over it. If you have already know what she does, feel free to please skip to the modules section. Her first ability is called Thrill Bomb. What this does is puts a ball of electricity into the air that targets several enemies and does electric damage to them. It's a fusion type ability. Her second ability is called Speed of Light. This is the one that makes her run and charges up her special electric power. Her third ability is the big AoE called Lightning Emission. This does damage over time based on how far you run. So if you combine this with her Speed of Light, she will attack in faster increments. Her fourth and final ability is called Maximum Power. This is a laser beam ability. It just is a single target laser and deals more damage the longer they hit an enemy. Her passive is called Rabbit Foot. What this does when you jump up and down, she will do an AoE damage shockwave. For Bunny's modules, we do use high voltage, which reduces the number of enemies that your first ability and third ability target. However, it does significantly increase the damage that she does output throughout her entire build. So that's why we use this for bossing. You want to make sure that you modify your melee / grappling hook socket so that way you get up to 85 module capacity. The boss build itself does not use all 85 capacity. However, the AoE and running around the world build does. So you'll want to take that into account. Or you can just not use the socket, or you can just not level up your high voltage as much and spend as much money getting the card to max, whichever you prefer. We use Nimble Fingers to reduce the skill cooldown. We use Time Distribution to reduce the skill cooldown and increase your HP for survivability. With the 4-card trifecta of Skill Insight, increasing your critical hit rate, Emergency Measures, increasing your critical hit rate and critical hit damage, Front Lines, increasing your critical hit damage and critical hit rate, and Skill Concentration, increasing your critical hit damage. These 4 cards together make the powerhouse of the build, along with Spear and Shield, giving us a little bit more defense and a little bit of extra added skill power. We use Focus on Electric and Focus on Singular to increase our singular and electric power while also reducing our cooldowns. And then the final card that this build uses is Lethal Infection. So this is the specific card I use for bossing. And the reason I use this is this card increases all of your skill power by 25% when you're at max stacks. So how it works is Bunny will electrocute the enemy. And then if you hit a critical attack on an enemy that has a condition on them, then you will gain 2.5% skill power modifier up to 10 stacks, so up to 25% extra damage. So it doesn't have to be electric, it can be fire, as long as they are hit with any debuff. So if you are in a group and other people are applying other debuffs to them, then this will still trigger. I use the Thunder Cage, it's got rapid attack speed, and it also applies electric attack to its gun. So you will have a debuff on your Colossus no matter what. And this will basically just increase your overall flat damage of all of your abilities. Now, if you don't like Lethal Infection, you don't have to do that. That's okay. It's the Xantix slot, so you can replace it with Dangerous Ambush if that's what you would like. Xantix slot, really, for the ultimate cards, is, in my opinion, one of the better slots. So Dangerous Ambush, MP Collector, or Lethal Infection, any one of those can go here. And that is it for her Boss Bunny build guide. Here is just some footage of her taking out the Devourer. She is a fantastic, hard-hitting boss fighter in this instance. Now, she's still kind of squishy. We didn't put a lot of HP into this build. Mostly it's a skill issue if you get hit. I'm kidding. But really, your components can help you here get your HP up online. If you are dying a lot, just make sure that you focus on getting components that have HP and defense on them to keep yourself alive for longer in the battle to do more damage. And now let's move on to her exciting AoE build. So basically, we are sacrificing here a little bit of power, but once again, if you're mobbing, you're not going to need as much power, so that's okay. We've added some survivability to this one, and we have added some running extension time. This is a mobbing build. You can do less damage. You want to run for as long as possible. We're focused on speed here, okay? So we are still using the high voltage card for this one. Once again, it doesn't matter what you use for your melee. The grapple hooks are fine. And as far as the cards go, maximize efficiency. We're going to reduce our skill cost by 15.8% and lose a little bit of max MP, but that's okay. MP conversion, our skill cooldown is going to go down 36.5% and slightly decrease our max MP again. Emergency measures, skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage. Front line, skill critical hit damage, skill critical hit rate. We're still going to put some damage into this build. Focus on electric, give ourselves some electric power. Skill expansion and maximize range. We are going maximum range here for maximum damage, AoE for all of the mobs that we encounter. And then increased HP is our survivability, adding HP by 218%. Lots of HP, get us some survivability. When you're mobbing, I found sometimes you run into stuff, sometimes the mobs will just, gang up on you and it's really hard to move. So I like the added survivability of this build. And then, of course, MP collector to have a chance to recover your MP upon defeating an enemy to keep yourself running consistently and continuously. Here's some footage of Bunny running around doing a hard mode dungeon. Once again, you're still blowing through stuff. You're still doing tons of damage. Your AoE is massive. You have a ton of range. You take out mobs no problem, and you still have the punch and the power to defeat a boss at the end. This just gives you a little bit more speed and sustainability while running through those hard mode dungeons. Let's move on to her components. For this build, we are running a Thunder Cage mounting with electric and singular power boost and skill effect range and singular power boost ratio. If you want, you could change the range for critical hit damage. That is usually what I would run for my bossing. I change my range to damage because honestly, I don't need that much range. I'm running around the boss's feet. I'm right there. For her external components, we run the full Supernova auxiliary power set. This gives her 8.6% increased electric skill power modifier. It also increases her fusion skill power modifier, which when you're bossing, this does come into play if you want to use her ultimate. On any electric skill attack, this includes running around with your AoE. You have a chance to have a thunderbolt rain down upon the location, equivalent to 100% of your skill power modifier every 2 seconds at half a chance. So every time you hit an enemy, you have a 50-50 chance of shocking them with extra electric damage, which is fantastic. I do focus on maximum HP and maximum defense as much as I can. Maximum MP and maximum MP recovery in combat on your components. You will run out of MP bossing very quickly, especially if you don't have mobs to kill and gain that MP back by picking up drops. The boss build does not have built-in MP recovery, so it is pretty rough, but the whole point is to do a ton of damage to begin with, so you don't have to worry about it. And then defense and the toxin resistance. She dies to toxin more than anything else. It feels like fire boss, whatever. Ice boss, whatever. Toxin, she's on the floor. It's wild. So maximum toxin resistance as much as you can get. Once again, stacking all these with the resistances is great. She is really kind of rough to play in boss fights because there is so much on the floor. There's so much stuff that targets you that you really have to be conscious of to get away from and use the terrain to your advantage. So just giving her as much survivability in your components is really what you're looking for here. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my video today. This is my version of Boss Bunny. I don't claim it does the best damage. I don't claim it does the highest damage, but what I really do like about this build is its versatility to both do bossing really well, farming, dungeoning, hanging out with your friends. Like, it's just a fun, really easy to put together build. It still does do a ton of damage, so you get the funny numbers, and like, it's really awesome. Honestly, sometimes I'll put on the electric condense card instead of the high voltage just to run around. You can put that in just as easily, and then you can do 7-8 mil plus on the bosses and things like that. It's whichever you want to do. This particular set really lets you use any of her transcendent cards without any issues, so it's just how much you want to spend on leveling up your transcendent cards. So thank you guys so much again. I stream every day on Twitch, so please feel free to stop by if you have any questions or see my other builds. I am also, once again, part of the creator program, so please support me as your creator by going in-game, finding my name, AravaVT, #9304, scrolling down to the creator details button, and then adding me as your creator. This will help me make more content like this in the future. I am really excited for the next update coming up in a couple weeks, so we're working on finishing that out and fleshing out a couple more descendants. I've got a Jaber build coming up, so that should be pretty fun. But have a wonderful day, guys, and I will see you later.